Have you ever felt like there's something more to life? Like you have untapped potential just waiting to be unleashed? Well, you're not alone. And today, I'm going to share with you a powerful secret that could change everything. It's all about the teachings of Neville Goddard and the incredible power of faith. In less than 2 hours, you'll learn how to tap into a force so powerful it can help you manifest your wildest dreams. This isn't just another self-help trick, it's a fundamental shift in how you view reality and your place in it. Now you might be thinking, why should I care about some spiritual teaching? Well, let me ask you this. Are you completely satisfied with your life right now? Are all your dreams coming true? If not, then pay close attention. Because if you don't grasp this principle, you might find yourself stuck in the same old patterns, struggling to achieve your goals and wondering why nothing ever seems to change. But here's the exciting part. Once you truly understand and apply Goddard's teachings, your life can transform in ways you never thought possible. Think about it. What if you could actually create the life you've always dreamed of? What if you had the power to shape your reality through the power of your mind? It sounds too good to be true, but countless people have used these principles to achieve amazing things. And the best part? It's not about working harder or learning complex techniques. It's about understanding a simple yet profound truth about the nature of reality and your role in it. But I'll be honest with you, this isn't always easy. It requires you to confront some deep-seated beliefs and maybe even challenge everything you thought you knew about how the world works. You'll need to face your doubts, your fears, and the voice in your head that says, "This can't be real." But if you're willing to keep an open mind and give it a try, the results could be life-changing. Before we dive into the meat of these teachings, let's talk about the man behind them. Neville Goddard wasn't your typical spiritual guru. Born in 1905 in Barbados, Goddard was an ordinary guy who stumbled upon extraordinary insights. He wasn't born with special powers or raised in a monastery. In fact, he spent his early years working regular jobs and even had a stint as a dancer on Broadway. But all that changed when he discovered a profound truth about the nature of reality and our role in shaping it. Goddard's teachings are important because they offer a unique perspective on manifestation and the power of the mind. Unlike many other spiritual teachers, Goddard didn't focus on complex rituals or esoteric knowledge. Instead, he taught that the key to creating the life you want lies in your own imagination and your ability to feel as if your desires are already real. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with me? Well, everything. Goddard's ideas aren't just some abstract philosophy, they're practical tools that you can use in your everyday life. Whether you want to improve your relationships, advance in your career, or simply find more joy and fulfillment, Goddard's teachings offer a roadmap to achieving your goals. But here's the really exciting part. Goddard's ideas aren't just about getting stuff or achieving success in the conventional sense. They're about fundamentally changing your relationship with reality itself. Imagine being able to approach life with a deep sense of peace and confidence, knowing that you have the power to shape your experiences. That's what Goddard's teachings can offer you. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds like magical thinking. How can simply imagining something make it real? And that's a fair question. But stick with me, because as we dive deeper into Goddard's ideas, you'll see that there's nothing magical about it. It's actually based on a profound understanding of how our minds interact with the world around us. Goddard's teachings aren't about denying reality or pretending that problems don't exist. Instead, they're about understanding the incredible power of your mind to influence your experiences and even the events in your life. It's about realizing that your internal state, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs play a much bigger role in shaping your reality than you might have ever imagined. Think about it this way. Have you ever noticed how when you're in a bad mood, everything seems to go wrong? Or how when you're feeling confident and positive, opportunities seem to pop up out of nowhere? That's just a small taste of the principle Goddard was talking about, but he took it much, much further. According to Goddard, your imagination is the creative force of the universe. That might sound like a bold claim, but as we explore his ideas, you'll see how this concept can be applied in very practical, down-to-earth ways. It's not about fantasy or escapism, it's about understanding the true nature of reality and your place in it. One of the things I love about Goddard's teachings is how empowering they are. He didn't claim to have special powers or to be some kind of chosen one. Instead, he insisted that every single person has access to this incredible creative force. You don't need to be special or gifted or lucky, you just need to understand the principle and learn how to apply it. Now, I want to be clear about something. Goddard's teachings aren't a get-rich-quick scheme or a magic bullet that will solve all your problems overnight. They require practice, patience, and a willingness to challenge your own beliefs. But if you're willing to put in the effort, the results can be truly transformative. As we go through this journey together, I want you to keep an open mind. Some of the ideas we'll be discussing might seem strange or even impossible at first. That's okay. Skepticism is healthy, and I encourage you to question everything, but I also encourage you to try these principles out for yourself. Don't just take my word for it, or even Goddard's word for it. Test these ideas in your own life and see what happens. Throughout this video, we're going to break down Goddard's core teachings into simple, actionable steps. We'll explore the power of imagination, the true meaning of faith, and how to overcome the doubts and fears that might be holding you back. By the end, you'll have a clear understanding of how to apply these principles in your own life. But here's the thing. This isn't just about learning some new information, it's about experiencing a shift in your entire way of being. As you begin to understand and apply these principles, you might find that your whole perspective on life starts to change. Things that used to bother you might not seem so important anymore. Opportunities you never noticed before might suddenly appear. And most importantly, you might start to feel a deep sense of peace and confidence, knowing that you have the power to shape your own reality. So, are you ready to unlock your hidden power? Are you ready to discover the incredible potential that's been within you all along? If so, then let's dive in. The journey we're about to embark on could change your life in ways you never thought possible. And the best part? It all starts right here, right now, with the power of your own mind. At the heart of Neville Goddard's teaching is a simple yet profound idea. Your imagination creates reality. Now, I know that might sound a bit out there, but stay with me. Goddard wasn't talking about fantasy or daydreaming. He was talking about a deep, powerful use of your imagination that can actually shape the world around you. Here's how it works. Goddard taught that everything you see in the physical world first existed as an idea or an imaginal act. Think about it. Every invention, every building, every piece of art, they all started as an idea in someone's mind before they became real. Goddard took this concept even further, saying that this applies to everything in our lives, from our relationships to our careers to our personal achievements. Let me give you a simple example to make this clearer. Imagine you want a new job. Most people would start by looking at job listings, updating their resume, and hoping for the best. But Goddard's approach is different. He would say that instead of focusing on the process of getting the job, you should imagine yourself already in that new position. Feel the satisfaction of doing work you love. Imagine the details of your new office. Experience the pride of telling your friends about your new role. Now, this doesn't mean you don't take action in the real world, but according to Goddard, by vividly imagining and feeling the reality of already having what you want, you set in motion forces that will bring that reality into your physical experience. This applies to everyday life in countless ways. Want to improve a relationship? Instead of worrying about what's wrong, imagine and feel what it would be like if the relationship was exactly as you want it to be. Trying to solve a problem at work. Rather than stressing about the obstacles, imagine the feeling of having already found the perfect solution. Now let's dive deeper into the power of imagination. Goddard taught that your imagination is not just a fun little tool for daydreaming, it's the very foundation of reality. He believed that the world we see around us is actually a projection of our inner thoughts and beliefs. This might sound a bit confusing at first, so let me break it down. Have you ever noticed how two people can experience the same event completely differently? One person might see an opportunity where another sees a problem. One might feel excited where another feels anxious. According to Goddard, this isn't just about perspective, it's about how our inner world shapes our outer experiences. Here's a simple exercise you can try right now to experience the power of imagination. Close your eyes and vividly imagine biting into a juicy lemon. See the yellow skin, feel the texture, imagine the sour taste hitting your tongue. If you did this vividly enough, you might notice that your mouth started to water. That's a physical reaction to something that only happened in your mind. Now imagine applying this same principle to bigger things in your life. If you can create a physical reaction from simply imagining a lemon, what could you do if you applied that same vivid imagination to your goals and dreams? Goddard taught specific techniques for using your imagination effectively. One of his most famous is called living from the end. This means imagining and feeling what it would be like if your desire was already fulfilled. It's not about visualizing the process of getting what you want, but experiencing the feeling of already having it. For example, if you want a promotion at work, instead of worrying about how to impress your boss or update your resume, you would imagine yourself already in the new position. Feel the satisfaction of the higher salary, the pride in your new responsibilities, the respect from your colleagues. The key is to make it as vivid and real as possible in your mind. You might be wondering, what results can I expect from this? Well, according to Goddard and many of his followers, the results can be quite remarkable. People have reported manifesting everything from new jobs and relationships to unexpected opportunities and even physical healings. But it's important to remember that this isn't about instant magical results. It's about aligning your inner world with your desires and allowing them to manifest in sometimes surprising ways. Now let's talk about faith. This is a word that gets thrown around a lot, often with religious connotations. But Goddard's understanding of faith was quite different, and I think much more practical. For Goddard, faith wasn't about believing in something outside of yourself. It wasn't about hoping that some external force would come and make everything better. Instead, Goddard defined faith as the feeling of the wish fulfilled. In other words, faith is the ability to believe so completely in the reality of your imagined state that you feel it to be true right now. This is quite different from how most people think about faith. Often, we think of faith as believing despite evidence to the contrary, but Goddard's concept of faith is more active and creative. It's about creating such a vivid and real experience in your imagination that it feels more real than your current circumstances. Let me give you an example to illustrate the difference. Let's say you're struggling financially and you want to manifest more abundance. The common understanding of faith might lead you to pray for money or hope that something will change. Goddard's approach would be to imagine and feel what it's like to already have financial abundance. Feel the relief of having your bills paid easily. Imagine the joy of being generous with your loved ones. Experience the peace of mind that comes with financial security. The key here is that you're not just thinking about these things or wishing for them. You're creating such a vivid inner experience that it feels real to you now, even if your current circumstances haven't changed yet. Now, I know this might sound challenging, especially if you're in a difficult situation. It's not always easy to feel abundant when you're looking at a stack of unpaid bills. But this is where the real power of Goddard's teaching comes in. He argued that by changing your inner state, you actually start to change your outer reality. There's a famous success story that illustrates this principle beautifully. Goddard tells of a woman who was desperate to visit her daughter in Germany, but lacked the money for the trip. Instead of focusing on her lack of funds, she began to imagine the feeling of being in Germany with her daughter. She imagined the hugs, the conversations, the joy of being together. She did this so vividly and consistently that it felt real to her. Within a short time, a series of unexpected events occurred. She received gifts of money from various sources, and before she knew it, she had enough for the trip. This story illustrates how faith, in Goddard's sense, can work in seemingly miraculous ways. But it's important to understand that this isn't about denying reality or pretending that problems don't exist. It's about shifting your focus from what is to what could be and feeling the reality of your desired state so completely that it begins to manifest in your outer world. This concept of faith requires practice and persistence. It's not always easy, especially when faced with challenging circumstances. But according to Goddard, this is the key to unlocking your manifestation power. By cultivating this kind of faith, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe. Remember, Goddard taught that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. By changing your inner state through this active, creative faith, you begin to change the reflection. It's like changing the image in a mirror by changing what's in front of it, rather than trying to manipulate the reflection itself. As we continue to explore Goddard's teachings, we'll delve into specific techniques for cultivating this kind of faith and applying it to various aspects of your life. But for now, I want you to start thinking about faith in this new way. It's not about blind belief or passive hope. It's about actively creating the feeling of your wish fulfilled right here and now. Practical steps to build faith. Now that we understand what faith means in Goddard's teachings, let's explore some practical steps to build and strengthen this faith. Remember, we're not talking about blind belief, but about cultivating a deep sense of knowing and feeling that your desires are already realized. The first step in building faith is to get crystal clear about what you want. This might sound simple, but many people struggle with this. They have vague ideas about wanting to be happy or successful, but they haven't defined what that really means for them. Take some time to really think about what you want to manifest. Be specific. If it's a new job, what kind of job? What would your responsibilities be? How much would you earn? The more specific you can be, the easier it will be to imagine and feel it as real. This step works because it gives your mind a clear target. When you're vague about what you want, your subconscious doesn't know what to work towards. But when you're clear and specific, you're giving your mind a precise blueprint to work with. Once you're clear about what you want, the next step is to create a vivid mental scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. This is where your imagination comes into play. Create a short, simple scene that you would experience if your desire was already realized. For example, if you want a loving relationship, you might imagine yourself cooking dinner with your partner, laughing and enjoying each other's company. If it's a new job, you might imagine yourself sitting at your new desk, feeling satisfied after a productive day. The key here is to make this scene as vivid and real as possible. Use all your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? The more real you can make this scene in your mind, the more powerful it becomes. This step works because your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what's vividly imagined and what's real. By creating and experiencing these vivid scenes, you're programming your subconscious to accept this new reality. The final and most crucial step is to feel the reality of your imagined scene. This is where many people struggle, but it's also where the real power lies. As you imagine your scene, allow yourself to feel the emotions you would feel if this were really happening. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the relief, the excitement. Let these feelings fill your entire being. Goddard often said, "Feel it real." This isn't just about visualizing or thinking about what you want. It's about experiencing it so vividly in your imagination that it feels like it's actually happening right now. This step works because your emotions are the language of your subconscious mind. When you combine vivid imagination with real emotion, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious that this is your reality. And your subconscious will then work to align your outer world with this inner experience. As you start to practice these techniques, you're likely to encounter doubts and fears. This is completely normal and actually a good sign. It means you're challenging your old beliefs and pushing beyond your comfort zone. One common obstacle is the voice of logic that says, "This can't be real. It's just my imagination." Remember, Goddard taught that imagination is the very substance of reality. Your logical mind might resist this idea at first, but with practice, you'll start to see results that will quiet these doubts. Another common fear is disappointment. You might worry, what if I do all this and nothing happens? This fear can hold you back from fully engaging with the practice. The key here is to focus on the joy of the imaginal act itself, rather than being attached to specific outcomes. Enjoy the process of feeling your desires as real, regardless of what's happening in your outer world. To overcome these doubts and fears, persistence is key. Make this practice a daily habit. Even if you don't see immediate results, keep going. Many people give up too soon, just before their breakthrough was about to happen. Another helpful strategy is to start with small, believable desires. As you see results with these, your faith will grow and you'll be able to tackle bigger goals with more confidence. Remember, doubts and fears are just thoughts. They only have power if you give them your attention and belief. Instead, focus on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The more you do this, the less power your doubts will have. Now that we've explored the core principles and techniques, let's talk about how to put it all together into a daily practice. Start by setting aside some time each day for your imaginal work. Many people find it helpful to do this right before sleep or first thing in the morning when the mind is relaxed and receptive. Begin with relaxation. Take a few deep breaths and let go of the stresses of the day. Then, bring to mind your desired end result. Remember to be specific and clear about what you want. Next, create your vivid mental scene. See it, hear it, feel it as if it's happening right now. Engage all your senses to make it as real as possible. Most importantly, feel the emotions associated with having your desire fulfilled. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude. Let these feelings saturate your entire being. Stay in this state for as long as you can, really savoring the experience. When you're done, Carry that feeling with you throughout your day. In addition to this focused practice, look for opportunities throughout your day to reinforce your new state. If doubts or contradictory circumstances arise, gently bring your attention back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. As for expectations, it's important to be patient and trust the process. Sometimes results can appear quickly, but often they unfold gradually over time. The key is to persist in your practice regardless of appearances. Remember, you're not just doing a visualization exercise, you're actually reshaping your concept of reality. This takes time and consistent practice. But as you persist, you'll likely start to notice changes, both in your inner state and in your outer circumstances. We've covered a lot of ground in exploring Neville Goddard's powerful teachings on faith and manifestation. From understanding the core principle that imagination creates reality to learning practical techniques for building faith, we've laid out a roadmap for transforming your life from the inside out. Remember, the power to shape your reality lies within you. It's not about forcing changes in the outer world, but about changing your inner state, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. As you master the art of living from the end, feeling your desires as already fulfilled, you'll likely find your outer world beginning to align with your inner vision. This practice isn't always easy. It challenges our habitual ways of thinking and perceiving the world. You may face doubts, fears, and setbacks along the way. But with persistence and patience, you can develop a faith so powerful that it transforms every aspect of your life. The journey you're embarking on is deeply personal and potentially life-changing. It's about more than just achieving goals or manifesting desires. It's about discovering your true creative power and your role in shaping your reality. As you move forward, I encourage you to approach this practice with an open mind and a sense of playful experimentation. Try these techniques out for yourself and see what happens. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your successes, and learn from your experiences. Remember, every master was once a beginner. Neville Goddard himself spoke of his own journey of discovery and growth. So don't be discouraged if it takes time to see results. Every time you choose to feel the reality of your desires, you're strengthening your faith and moving closer to their manifestation. Your journey with these teachings is just beginning. As you continue to explore and apply these principles, you may find yourself experiencing life in a whole new way, with more joy, more peace, and a deep sense of empowerment. So go forth and create the life you desire. Your imagination is the workshop where all your dreams and desires can be brought to life. Use it wisely, persistently, and with faith. The power is yours. Now it's time to use it to